Hey, welcome to This Commerce Life, an unscripted podcast that focuses on the stories behind small and independent Canadian retail and Canadian CPG.
What we try and do is deliver or pull out the story of our guests and give them to you. You know, the good, the bad, the ugly of retail and CPG in Canada. We're filling a need because we think that retail is hard on the best of days, but it's also a wonderful, wonderful place to grow up and make your living.
We also think that the industry, nor the people that inadvertently find themselves in the industry, really understand the industry at all. They don't really understand what goes on behind the scenes.
So listen to us, Phil and Kenny. We'll unravel it for you. We'll give you the story. We'll give you the story behind the story.
Time changes.
Hi, Phil.
Hello,
Hello, Chang.
Kenny. What's going on?
How are you guys doing?
All right.
All good. All good. Above ground.
I'm digging myself out.
Looks like it might be a nice day. Maybe.
No. We are snow advisory. I've got when I went out at 6 a.m. this morning, we had probably 30 centimeters of snow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've got
Oh,
another. I think I've got another 30-ish that's out there right now. So
oh,
like it doesn't even look like it's 11 a.m. for me. So I went out 5 hours ago to shovel. And right now it looks like I've been a lazy ass and I didn't do anything.
oh, wow. Well, I won't tell you that we
Yeah.
were supposed to be sunny and 10 today then.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. But I don't think we should jinx us because we've had continuous rain for so long
oh
now.
my God, it's not stopped.
It's just
Oh,
nonstop. Like yesterday, for like a few hours, it stopped. And then I just went for a quick walk and I came back and I looked outside and it was like all foggy and raining again.
yeah.
It's
Really?
like, what happened?
Yikes.
It's Vancouver.
Yikes. Yikes. That sucks. That sucks. That sucks.
So,
It's nice to see you again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're actually going to CHFA. We're going to
Okay.
Grocery West.
oh, good.
Okay.
We're going to Pitch and Plate.
Okay.
The Basin show was quite successful because we're now, we've agreed to work with Kootenay Co-op, the Pilo, as well as Sobeys, all three,
Okay.
Good for
uh,
you.
as well as there's the other one. I forget the one with the F.
You went Ferraros too?
Yes, we're
So you,
still.
you picked up all three on the panel. Left Georgia, Maine right now. We'll get to Palace soon.
Yeah, Georgia, Maine, we're
Alice,
still
what's
figuring
going
out.
on?
Yeah.
Georgia,
Wow.
Maine, what's happening with you guys? Like they
I
were on
know.
the pan, like what the heck, guys?
Seriously. Asleep at the wheel.
And we just got shortlisted for the CHFA Launchpad. It's
Okay.
shortlisted 20, and then they're going to pare it down to 8. So we've got shortlisted in the top 20.
Oh, that's a
Uh,
big deal.
yeah, that's a big deal. And so now I think the next one, like Pitch and Plate, is on the 20th. So we're
Right?
ready there.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
That's
Exciting.
that's pretty good.
And,
Really
and we signed up with Nationwide as a
okay.
distributor.
Oh, awesome. It's with
Okay.
Randy.
Thank you,
Good.
Randy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Mhm.
So I think we're now starting. I think it's just, I mean, Nationwide's just getting their bearings. We have a sales training with them on 23rd. So a lot
Oh,
on the
good.
go.
That's a lot of stuff happening since the beginning of November when we met you.
Yes.
I'm glad you're doing training with them though.
Yes.
That's
Because
important.
it's
You gotta do
really
that.
it's just really common, right? Because people
Yeah.
go, oh well, we gave it to Randy, good, right? Or we gave it to Unify, or we gave it to whatever, and then you kind of go, yeah,
Yeah.
Now
so
what?
they don't.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody's an expert in your product except for you, right? So if you don't
Exactly.
teach them, they don't know, right? So
Yeah.
I love it.
I mean,
Exciting.
again, because of my corporate background, I kind of put together a full training document deck. I put together an FAQs, which I think is like 1 or 2 pager FAQs, which they can carry with them
Oh,
wherever they go.
good. Yeah.
So, yeah. I
Okay.
think the biggest challenge that we have right now is the pricing, because we're still with a co-packer and we're still doing very small runs. But we have identified, we're trying to mitigate our risk there.
There's Yeah, I wouldn't. There's like everything. I mean, if you can work with a co-packer and you're priced well enough so you can still make money, then all your in theory, as you grow, it just gets better.
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah,
worry I typically have with people, if they're already struggling and they're at the co-packer stage and it's forcing them into, $100,000, $200,000 worth of capital investments, that's a road that might be
yeah,
a little less fun.
yeah,
There's reasons why you can use a co-packer. I mean, what the hell, right? I mean, it's not your money. You don't have to buy the plant, but you definitely pay for it. But
yeah.
that's part of life too, right? I mean,
The other update is that Uh, I mean, because we do e-commerce, so our Amazon's pretty much set up. And I think what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and push into Amazon into US, instead of going just Amazon Canada. So that's going to be a starting point into the US. So we're also working with uh, Monique from the Export Navigator.
Yes.
So we
I
have
good.
it.
know Monique. Monique
Yeah,
Zizzi.
Yeah, yeah, good. Well, they're
She's
good
great.
people.
Yeah.
yeah, the
Good
great people.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a
Wow.
lot on the go.
Holy shit.
So one thing is,
Yeah.
and then I think this is a podcast episode, right?
Hmm.
We're gonna do a
Yeah.
podcast. So for the audience, we'll get to Natasha in just one second. But
Yeah.
one thing like we're on this is just make sure that like you seem to the two of you seem to really know what you're doing. So just keep an eye on volumes. Like I know you're pushing for better synergy, so you get better volumes. It's just some
Yeah.
of it will come fast and furious. So you just need to make
Just
sure you
breathe.
pace out your pipeline, right? So I think you're probably already on it. It sounds like you are,
Yeah.
but just watch it, right? Because otherwise it's like hi, we now need 10,000 cases. And you're like, whoa, like,
Yeah.
hang on one second. We were making like 100 a day and now we need 10,000. So I'm not saying those are
Yeah.
the
I mean,
numbers.
for both sides, one, cash,
Yeah,
Yeah.
two, the
yeah,
co-packer. I mean, they
Mhm.
might be capable, but the capacity they might be thinking is, yeah, these guys will do 1,000 cases a month. That's okay. Well, now you need 10. I
Mhm.
mean, if you outgrow your co-packer that quickly or don't have an alternate plan, like then you're
yeah, yeah, yeah,
now what?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, just time your growth, you
Yeah.
know.
That's good to know. I mean, one of the things I think I mentioned is that our growth plan is that really focus on Western Canada
Yeah,
for the next few months, and then expand into East, and then look at US as a market. So we're strategically on paper, we've got that.
Okay.
And but US, what we want to do is really touch the surface through e-commerce first before we
right.
really go into retail. And so
If
e-commerce,
at all.
yeah, yeah, and e-commerce you can actually limit yourself. So you can say, okay, I just want to do this region,
That's right.
and that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So, but that's
yeah.
really good advice because, I mean, I first of all thank you for the advice of kind of changing few things on our label. We actually went ahead and also changed one more thing is that we've got extra virgin olive oil, which was becoming a little bit of a trigger point with some of the retailers. It's very interesting that some customers who are already with retailers, they don't have a problem. They still have, canola or vegetable oil. But the new ones, they're kind of being a little bit fussy on the extra virgin olive oil. So we made that change. So, and we changed our packaging a bit, made it a little bit more robust. So lots, yeah,
So a few things.
yeah,
Cool.
A few things here and there.
yeah, a few things here.
Wow.
I like it. I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. For the audience, we're kind of excited to do this, and thank you for doing this. We've got Natasha Chawla with us, and she's Greens and Beans. You will hear about this in a second. So we met Natasha and her wonderful husband in
Nelson.
Basin in Nelson at the Basin Food Show, and we're just delighted. Like, just an amazing product. You guys are wonderful people. We had great conversations while we were there. Um, and then in kind of normal format is Kenny and I are who we are, right? So we kind of like unfiltered and gave her feedback. And like Natasha kind of, you know, she's a tough entrepreneur. Like she took it all in stride. She took some of it, didn't take some of it. she did what we were hoping she would do, and she took what she needed and
Right.
then made this thing into something. So,
Thank
well,
you.
you were sorry, I shouldn't say that because you were already making something, and you took a little bit of like feedback from us and then improved. So,
I mean, it's always the
um,
same. You take it for what it's worth, right? I mean, but it's sometimes it just because it's hard to see when you're in your own
yeah,
weeds,
yeah.
That's
right?
right.
So the last thing I'll say is if you're anywhere near online or you're listening and you can be near a computer, go to greensandbeans.ca, all one word, so greensandbeans.ca, and you'll be able to check out their product as we talk. But do you mind introducing yourself and then kind of tell us? We'd love to hear about you, and then like if I remember right, you have a pretty interesting background on how you got to where you are. So we're curious about all of it. We know our listeners are going to be delighted to hear about it too. So welcome.
You can even tell us about your husband too, because he's sort of involved in
I
this too. So
guess you
we'll
can
give
tell
him
us
two
about
cents
him
worth of plugging
too,
as well.
For
maybe, you
sure.
know.
For sure.
But for
But
you, Natasha, like really, I like to what we both really like is because CPG is such a funny place, and I know you did come from corporate. Is like really how and why.
yeah.
Because why is once you get into this world, you really understand. You probably ask yourself a lot of days, why did I do this?
Yeah. For sure. Thank you so much. I think it was really fun meeting you guys. And as Phil, you said, like I think your feedback kind of really honed in a few things. I mean, mine and my husband's background, we've both in the corporate world for 25 plus years. I actually started my career a bit in the CPG world where I was, in the advertising side and then kind of moved in the marketing side. And I was working on brands like Coca-Cola and Unilever. And I remember my first, uh, you know, understanding of Coca-Cola was when they actually put us on the trucks and they made us go through, and this was in India. So they made us go through all the various, uh, uh, channels of distribution, so to speak. And so it was a great moment because being in marketing was very different from actually being on the ground and listening to what the retailers want, what the wholesalers want, how did the value chain work. So it was very fascinating. And so from there on, I've kind of changed industries, I think, probably 100 times. And so I've kind of dabbled in utilities, telecom. Latest one was marine tech, SaaS products, and sustainability products. So I've done a lot of those over the years. And the latest one was very fascinating, which was, electric boating. So completely new industry for me. And
Like electric cars except a boat?
exactly. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Very, very interesting.
is
And
that big?
it's getting bigger. I would say it's so funny. Once I used to work in the CPG world, I would say, oh wow, that's tough. Then I moved to telecom and I said, oh, that's tough. And then I said, oh, when I moved to utilities, I said, oh my God, everything else was a cakewalk because truly nobody cares about electricity. And then I moved
Till you
to,
don't have it.
yeah. And then I moved to marine tech and I said, oh my goodness, that has been the toughest thing I've done in my life. But along the way, food has been a passion, personal passion of mine. And both ways, I love to eat and I love to cook. And so uh, back in like around 2014, I was a new mom. And my son had allergies. I've always had weight issues. I just thought that, you know what, I wanted my son to eat healthy. It really started from there. And I just wanted him to not only just eat healthy, have good eating habits. And a lot of that good eating habits means educating a child of what they're eating, right? And so that's what did is that, and you know, one thing on the other, he had lots of allergies, when he was younger. So I couldn't really go out and just pick up anything off the shelf without feeling those nerves. So I needed to make sure that anything that I'm picking up was fully tested, etc., and clean. And so I started making these sauces. And I started using, vegetables and used to prepare these sauces. And then I would leave it, and I was a working mom. My husband would come back from work and he would take one of the sauce and convert it into a meal.
Mm.
So very quickly, we started using these sauces as a everyday base, so to speak. And I mean, they were pasta sauces because my son was a pasta, like I think I would call him a pasta connoisseur. But even at the age of 5, he would love pasta in any form. So we started as pasta, but very quickly I could use the same sauce and make it into an amazing soup. And then as he grew, I couldn't fill him up because he started playing hockey.
Mm.
And so what I did was I added lentils in the sauce. And I'm like, oh, wow, they taste really good. It was meaty, creamy. And very quickly, I realized there's something to it because I realized there was so much convenience. There was clean labels. There was nothing I was putting in it. And it made our lives so much easier as a family. And that's really what it is. That's my story where I started from a corporate world and where I am today. I mean, my husband's been part of the journey, and this is where we are today.
And where did your husband come from? Like in terms of like what's his background?
His background, actually, we were together in university back in India. And so, very similar background. He started his career in advertising too, and then moved on to, more in the digital landscape. So, he kind of worked on customer experience, working on very big brands like AT&T, Nissan, and stuff. So, he's had that all-rounded experience when it comes to customer experience and digital transformation. And I've had the experience I've kind of grown into more marketing and business operations,
Right.
and, more like a growth person. So I think together, it was very, I would say good because he brought the digital landscape. I brought the overall business landscape. And it was so funny. In the early days, he would just keep saying, oh, what's so different? What's so different? And because he's so used to eating my food, right? And so he couldn't see the difference. And I would say, that's because you eat it every day. But when I took it out to my friends and I said, hey, you guys try, and they were like, oh my God, wow, this is interesting. This is great. So yeah.
Wow.
I like that.
Wow.
I like that a
Your
lot.
your background's interesting. It's because it's
Yeah.
still I always like for me, I'm always intrigued that I don't think people appreciate like how in theory how simple this industry should be in food. Like really, I mean, you eat. I mean, I don't know how much more complicated we can get. That's all you really do. And yet, because you've had so many different experiences, like if you if you look like it's not as easy as I'm assuming as you probably thought it was either, is it? Like I
No,
don't think people can appreciate if you're not in these categories sometimes. I don't know if you can really appreciate how stupidly complex just making a sauce and getting it to a shelf can be.
oh my God. So I'll tell you a story here.
Yeah.
I went through, and again, because of my corporate background,
Yeah.
everything I did, and of course, starting with, institutions like Unilever and Coca-Cola, you want to do everything perfect. So I followed the steps of the process. So I remember I worked and, did the R&D of my product at Alberta Agriculture unit, which is a government funded incubator. And the first time I went to them with like 10 little Tupperwares of sauces. And they turned around and they started asking me the process that I did. And I was like, I went on, and they were like, okay, you've got like 40 plus processes. You got to nail it down to 5. And I couldn't wrap my head around that because it is so interesting that even if you're working in CPG as a marketing brand,
Mhm.
growth person, it's very different when you have your hands in it because you're thinking of things very differently. And now I laugh and I say, yes, it's food, but more than food, it's also an experiment. It's a science experiment because everything has to be specific
Right.
and everything has to lead to the same taste over and over again
Right.
and same consistency, same taste, because now you're selling to customers and they expect that.
Yeah.
So it was very fascinating. It took me, I would say, probably 8 to 10 rounds of R&D with them. I don't know how many times I made my sauces. I think I've lost count of that. But very interesting when we scaled from, I would say, I think it was 10 liters to around 300 liters, the whole recipe broke down because suddenly my sauce tasted like dessert because the sugars caramelized a lot,
Interesting. Yeah.
right? So I had to literally go back to ground zero
Huh.
and kind of fix that because I didn't like we didn't think through, and it's also about the timing when you have the sugar in and the sugars of the product starts to break down. It became so sweet, and I was like, well, the whole point of it is not to be so sweet, right? So it was very fascinating for me to really go back to the drawing board, and that's why I would say that it's really, and what I did at the time was that I actually went out and started talking to a lot of fellow entrepreneurs, and I said, I understand you're creating a product and you're putting it in a brown paper bag and selling, but to really scale this, you got to think through this, right? Because even somebody like me who had known a lot what to do, it was a
Yeah.
good, I would say, learning experience.
Because I don't think people appreciate that part. That you make, a liter of sauce at home, making 300 or 1,000 or 10,000. In theory, it sounds like, yeah, it's the same. I mean, the same recipe, just multiply
Yeah.
by 10, multiply by 100, multiply by 1,000. Big deal. And
Yeah.
yet, not so much.
Not so much. It's
And then
not like
depends, different tomatoes, different year, different batch,
exactly, exactly.
whatever it is. So I'm probably getting way too detailed, but so we're involving foods like the ag center and like food scientists are now helping to say, listen, if
Yeah,
you do this, this is what's going to happen. Here's what we have to do to counter that, whatever that means.
absolutely. And that's what they did. It's like I learned about the concept of fresh food versus IQF for the first time because keep in mind when I started, I wanted to go the whole organic route, which I think is great. That is almost 10 years ago when I was building the product. And then life had happened in the middle, so I kind of just stayed. But the interesting thing is that the supply of organic produce was not as much there at the time,
Right,
right? So the consistent supply becomes a very important component in when you're building a product. So it was really about learning those components. And yeah, I was supported by a food scientist, and not only that, I actually did a full batch of research. So I did customer research, and I did sensory research, figuring out everything. What's the viscosity? What's the smell? What's the taste? All of those things. And it's fascinating that, even though I had done it 10 years ago, it still holds true today.
right.
Because when I am sampling at the stores today and I'm directly talking to customers, I'm hearing those same things from them. And it's so great because you say, oh wow, it puts a checkbox and saying, okay, you did something right.
Good for you, though. Lots of
Crazy.
people don't do that, right? Like you
No,
make it and then you run into things and then, you might ask a bunch of questions, but almost nobody asks, they don't go away and do all of their own research, right? You kind of learn a few things
I
and
think that for the beginning, Phil, I think most don't do that, period. Most will do what we're talking about now. They'll make the first liter, first 10 liters, first 50 liters. Yeah, yeah, it's all good. It's all good to go. Let's go package it, make 1,000. And they just go. And
Yeah.
then when it starts selling or they finally try the finished, they're thinking, holy shit, like, what is this?
Yeah. And I think that comes a bit from the whole corporate discipline, you know. And but I would say that it's still not been a very easy journey because I would say when we were ready to launch, we realized that we had it in bottles. And then e-commerce suddenly became big. And with my husband's experience in the digital world, where he was helping companies transform and get into the digital landscape, and as your own business, you think, oh my God, what if I'm not in e-commerce, right? It doesn't make sense. So it was really about going back again and saying, oh, now I need to look at packaging differently.
Right? How do I ship glass?
How do I ship glass? And Amazon at the time was not taking glass.
No,
Yeah,
period.
yeah, period. And plus, there's like almost a 30% breakage when it comes to glass.
Right?
Insurance on that is very high. And so the cost suddenly goes up significantly.
But on all
So
angles too, right? Because the cost of glass is more expensive, the cost
it,
to ship it is more expensive, then the breakage, then all the other like there's a lot of issues with glass, even though we all like the glass because it's much more sustainable. In
yeah.
theory, it's clean, all those things. But
And then we kind of went into pouch packaging, which was
right,
absolutely breakthrough when it comes to this category. You've seen it in soups in the I would say refrigerated section, but we were shelf stable. And so we were now in the aisles with a completely new packaging. And that itself brought new challenges because now it's like, how do you do a hot fill in this packaging, right? And make it shelf stable.
Yeah.
So we kind of went through the round again there, testing, doing all of that. So yeah, I think we're in a good place now. Lots of things to learn along the way. I would say every step of the way has been great. I mean, even something like when we met, right? From a marketing standpoint, we know the versatility of the sauces, but I think you guys helped us zero down and say, just call it pasta sauce, right? Even though we felt strongly that, this is the versatility of the sauce that really takes it to the next level. And being branding people and stuff, sometimes you get so into the things, but you said, okay, I understand everything, I love what you're doing, but see it from the retailer standpoint. The buyer's going to say, where do I put the sauce? I still remember those words because you said, where do I put the sauce? Which aisle do I put the sauce? Okay, don't tell me here or here, where? And the buyers are competing with each other. That kind of really helped us zone in even on that. So I would say that, even though there is experience, but once you're in it, you're learning so much along the way.
Yeah.
So we actually make fun of ourselves too, because there are moments where a lot of times it's easier to look at somebody else's business than your own.
Always.
Right? And then there are moments that you're in your own business and you go,
yeah,
such a dumb, so experience counts for something like it is something, but it's always worth an outside look, right? Because
I think it always is too, Phil, because you and I've always said it is because sometimes what'll happen, especially with you guys, Natasha and stuff, would be like, do as I say, not as I do. Right? Because, I can get equally as emotional and lost in a product as anybody. But when we're looking at yours, I mean, so the people understand is what, we saw Natasha and her husband at the Nelson, the Columbia Basin show in November, and the sauces are very, very good. But there was like eight different varieties, eight
four,
SKUs.
four,
Four. And I thought there was like eight. Like, felt like there's so many there.
four.
Maybe it was,
That's it.
maybe it was your husband was so intent. I was thinking this thing's massive. But it was one of those things that they were
Talking about
trying
him
to be
being
more of an
intense.
all-in-one sauce.
Maybe he's expanding codes and Natasha doesn't know it. So in the
You
back,
know
what
what?
he's
I
doing
think
is
you'd
like,
have to watch him because
I'm
I think he
making
would do
more.
that.
And she's gonna be like, what the F just happened? Like, I thought we only had four. Like, and he's like,
I think that's what he does, though. I think he gets so excited he just moves.
No, I think, and it's so interesting that even though I was the architect of the product, I was the one initially involved from the very beginning to, test the product, do all of that. That was me single-handedly. But then there came a point where life happened and it took a back seat. I have my son, I was working,
Yeah.
too much happening, it took a back seat. And I think as an entrepreneur, you realize this is that doing things single-handedly is very
It's
challenging.
really tough.
Very, very tough. And I think he came in at a great point where he
Right.
said, okay, enough. Let me just take it to the market. You've done
Yeah.
all the background research. And sometimes as corporate people, we kind of get into that, I would say,
gotta be perfect.
yeah. So he just said, let's take it to the and I think it's his digital, I would say, experience where there's the whole agile way of thinking. He just said, you know what, we're ready. I know we're ready. We're good. We've done everything. Let's just take it to the market and see.
And see what happens.
Yeah.
That's market validation. That's
Right.
the first thing. And it was so interesting that the first time, okay, one retailer, independent retailer would pick it, then second. But I think that was a turning point because even I laugh and say is that even something as important as creating your own website is a turning point because it makes it real. Because then okay, now the world can see it. Now you better take the product to the market.
And we'll be right back.
Hey, Phil.
Hey, Kenny.
Phil, if someone were to ask you, like because there's probably a multitude, but one of the more important thing that you would say separates, successful food companies from one another, like what would be one, let's say, key attribute or one thing that they would have done better or differently than others, maybe?
We've been talking about this one a lot, but I think, having a good
distributor that is powering your brand. I know lots of small brands want to be able to do everything themselves, but I think if you're smart about your distribution partnerships, it can really make the difference in your business.
So in terms of like launching in like new products and new stores, or launching into new markets, like what would it do to help grow sort of your retail footprint?
I think it has to be someone who can help you launch. It can also be someone who also just helps you expand, right? You're if you're a small brand and you're growing, you're one person delivering to single stores, like all of that stuff is hard, right? But when you get the right partnership, they already have relationships with grocers. They
Right.
already go to grocers. They already go to
Right.
specialty chains. Like wherever you want to go, a partner that's already doing that helps you not do something
Right.
new, right?
Yeah. So in essence, I guess they're already working with everybody from the small independent grocers to the major chains.
Yeah.
And in essence, hopefully what they're doing is giving your products what they deserve, which is an audience and a chance, right?
Yep.
Okay, that's cool. So as we are a podcast, and we do like to make sure that we do push people in the right directions. If you were to suggest anybody like out here in the West that could also help potentially nationally, what would you suggest?
I think La Grotta is a really good one. So LGDF Wholesale, La Grotta Wholesale, they've been doing this for a long time, 30 years. They understand the national scope, but they're very developed in the West. They're good at moving food. They're hooked up with specialty grocery and specialty retail. They know delis, they know restaurants. They are a very good distributor that you should be talking to.
Okay, so it sounds actually kind of cool, because it's not just wholesale, then it's wholesale to food service, et cetera. So you actually do get a fairly wide chance.
Yep.
That's awesome. Okay, so you heard it from Phil. If you're a food or beverage brand ready to scale, get your retail presence in BC, Alberta, and beyond, because there is representation in Ontario, check out LGDF Wholesale at lgdfwholesale.com. That's lgdfwholesale.com. Thanks, Phil.
All right. And now back to the podcast.
And so, but I would say the real market validation for us happened was when we started sampling, right? When we
I was
were
going to ask you that.
Yeah, when
Like
we
when
went,
you say take it to market, like what I'm trying to, because I want people, especially if they're newer things, that didn't mean you ran to Loblaws and Superstore. Like you took it to market, but we're talking like farmers markets, we're talking small independents, just to get a feel for
that's right.
like what does a customer actually say? Like sort of what we did with you. We said this is great, but what's
Yeah.
an all-in-one sauce mean? And like where, like as a retailer, because we both come from retail,
Yeah.
like we said to you, like where do you want me to put this?
Yeah.
And
Like
that,
what, this one's a curry sauce, this one's a pasta sauce, this is a different sauce for vegetable. I think we're like, well, I don't know how to manage. Like, where do you want me? Should
yeah,
I put you by VH, or do I put you by Ragu, or do I put you in an ethnic set, or like where the hell do you want me to go?
yeah. I mean, like we've got, so just so I can tell everybody, is like we've got 4 SKUs. We are vegetable-based pasta sauces,
Right.
and each of the
I guess we
sauce
should have said that too.
Yeah, each of the sauce contains at least 7 vegetables. 2 of our sauces also contain lentils. So, and we're allergen free, nutrient dense. So the first place where you use them is pasta. So first we've got our SKUs are beets and basil, beets and lentil, 7 veggie with beets and basil, 7 veggie with beets and lentil, 7 veggie with squash masala, and 7 veggie with carrot lentil. So what a 7 veggie with beets and basil, think of it like your marinara, but a lot more with vegetables. So use it everywhere where there is marinara. 7 veggie with beets and lentil is great where you think that it's plant-based protein. Think of it like that. So the same lasagna that you're having now, you can use it with the 7 veggie with lentil. And it's really great because it adds that creamy texture. Then there is the 7 veggie with squash masala. It's so interesting that masala, because I'm an I'm an Indian, and for me it's second nature, but it is like a hottest selling one, and people use it for things like on ravioli. People use it on make it for mac and cheese. I thought that was fascinating. Like, so I've heard people say things like that. And the last one is 7 veggie with carrot lentil. Again, if I were to just use it as a pasta, you could use it on any pasta. It just gives a little bit more gourmet pasta feel. But now take each of these sauces and now you can start converting them into hundreds of dishes. Like, I literally can meal prep 100 meals in 10 minutes with each of these sauces, because carrot lentil can be just a great soup with a little bit of coconut milk. Squash masala can be a great chickpea and a tofu curry. seven veggie with lentil can be a great, base for chili. So I think for me, what it was is these products going to market meant taking baby steps before running. That's the
Right.
first thing. So the first thing we did was that, shortlist, okay, where would we like to be? What are the stores that align with us? So these are the independent stores like we have Palms Market or Stongs.
Stongs,
Yeah, Stongs, or, there's
City
Donald.
Ave,
Yeah, City
Donalds.
Ave. Yeah. So all of these markets. But then, so again, when you're with a retailer, there's a lot that goes into those conversations, telling them the story. I think the retailers, the buyers see like 100 products every month. And how do you stand out separately? And I think it was the story as well as the packaging, everything really, aligned with the retailers. They put it on the shelves, but then putting on the shelves means nothing, truly, because now you've got to sell it. So how do you sell it unless you create an experience and get people to taste it? So we went sampling week after week, store after store. And sampling meant literally showing people how to use the product and getting them to taste it right there and then.
Yeah.
So sometimes we would take all the three, four products, sometimes we would do two products, sometimes three. And then, doing introductory offers with them to just get them to taste and try. And what we realized was that every sampling that we did for 2 hours, we would end up selling at least 10 to 15 cases every time. That just showed us that once people know about the product
Right.
and taste it, that's when they buy it. And not just, know, taste, they also need to know how to use the product. Because
Yeah.
I keep saying that I'm reimagining pasta sauces. Well, that's me reimagining. They don't know how to reimagine it, right? So it
Right.
was really about getting them to reimagine with me and showing them how to reimagine it.
The marketer in me loves that. That's nothing but content creation, no? That's just
Totally.
like
Yeah.
every few days, a new recipe, new look at, food that you can make, like, yeah, I love
Yeah.
See,
it.
and then to me, I go on the other side of it. I think that is very cool, but I can't be in 60 retailers a month cooking all the time to try to get this to go. And then that's when I think I like the aspect of back to the marketing side where, especially your husband's got some digital background, is like, how do you now do like because you can't be in every store all the time,
That's
right?
right.
And the stores we just talked about, even in our city, those stores are spread out over 15, 20 kilometers.
Yeah.
Right. And then it's any given day. You're on there on a Saturday morning, but it's raining or snowing and nobody's in the store. Well, what do you know what I mean? Like it's trying to find ways to like you said, is like on some aspects, I almost have to virtually taste it because I'm not going to be in the store at the same time as you. And
Yeah.
I don't want to miss out. So you did a great job with the packaging. That's where the messaging, where it goes in the store, like all those fun things, because trial is great, but like in this, how do you try? You can't have everybody try it. So how do
Well,
I get
yeah, and I
excited
think
about
I
this?
I heard I heard once they've tried it and they're in, there's a journey for them now. Like it's
That's
not
it.
just
Yeah.
it's four sauces, but it's really,
But I
like
can
a
do a million
hundred
things with
different
it.
hundred
Yeah.
different combinations
Right.
per sauce, right? So
Which
you
is what
can really,
Italian, like it was an
yeah,
Italian, like that's what pasta sauce is.
yeah,
Like you can use sauces for different types of noodles, and then you can incorporate meats if you so choose, or whatever it is. Like
Exactly.
you can play with things.
I think we do actually say the line is four sauces, endless possibilities. Uh, because the truth is
I think
that,
that's fair.
yeah, and it is true. The truth is that it is a challenge for parents, busy parents, or
Yeah.
individuals, busy individuals. We live very, very busy lives these days, and you
Yes,
need
we do.
something. Like I always say, if you like to cook, wonderful, you can use this sauce for hundreds of things. If you don't like to cook, even better, open the sauce, put it on pasta, and you're done. So it's that part. But you're
Right.
absolutely right. It's like there's only so much sampling you can do, and then after there comes a point, then you have to hire people, all of that. And people don't tell their story the way you tell your story, right? Because it's your
Ever.
story. But I think it's about now creating the same thing on a digital platform. And
Right.
that's something that we're focusing on now, is that we're really taking it to the next level in the sense of now we're really starting to build content, really, putting together a story on Instagram. We've been, I think our governments are supporting us in different ways. We've got the Buy BC grant.
Yeah.
It helps us to actually, uh, you know, push things forward. Because again, as I said, being an entrepreneur is, I mean, just the number of things you got to do is hard enough, and then the stress about, the money and everything
Money.
is yeah. So every little thing helps. So right now we're really focusing on taking the brand to the next level virtually, and especially because we're also focusing on the e-commerce part of it.
Right.
So really wanting to push it to people outside of just our little, geography, and getting people to taste and experience it.
Right.
So, and thank God we live in this era because uh, we are actually tasting, feeling things virtually every day.
Right.
So back in the day, I would say, when I say back in the day, it makes me sound really old, but 15, 20 years ago, this wasn't possible, right? So, yeah,
Well, like 20 years ago, we didn't have the internet. So then what do you do?
no, no. I
Well,
tell
we had the internet, but you know what I mean? Not to the
yeah,
robustness of now, where to your point, I mean, and I can always see Phil, because when you talk that, you can always see his wheels turning because he gets excited, but because you're thinking like the things you can do now without having to go out and still tell a cool story. So, like, I mean, lots of us buy, like, I'll watch food channel shows and I'll make recipes. I didn't try the recipe, but I end up trusting the individual who made it, or I'll look, and I've done enough cooking like the three of us have, and you say, I can do that.
yeah.
My
Oh, and they
It's
gave me the
Instagram's full
cheat.
of
They gave me the
nothing
sauce
but
to use. Oh,
food.
that's even more cool. I can
Yeah.
skip that part. Like, you know what I mean? Whatever you want to do, but because I'm not that person. I don't stop to try things in stores,
yeah,
but I'm an avid shopper of food. I don't need to try. I just need to know the story
yeah,
so that I can get excited about and say, you know what? I think I can do this one. Or it sounds good, or it looks good. Like it feels good because yeah, it's hard. You can't be in every
Yeah.
store every day all the time.
I
yeah,
think to me watching someone prep, like, so literally my Instagram is nothing but, right? Like the girls, I have two girls and a boy, but the girls are sometimes they hop into Instagram, because they want to show me something. They'll hop on my phone and they're just like, Dad, do you do anything else besides look at food? No, like, actually
No.
no. Like it's kind of all I look at. And I don't need I don't need, like a lot. What I need is like what you do with it,
yeah,
how the methodology, and then
yeah,
I've cooked enough. I can figure it out, right? So,
Well, in the world we live in now, those Instagram reels, those 30-second, 45-second reels where they just, you're thinking, because because we all at least understand the basis of cooking. All I need is
yeah,
that 45
yeah,
seconds.
yeah.
I don't need 6 hours anymore. I don't need to run around the country. And if you can show me that, I'm in. What the
No,
hell?
and I think what's also different from 20 years ago and today is packaging is better,
Oh,
right?
totally.
So your packaging, it makes sense to me, right? So the
Yeah,
fact that I can figure out pretty quick that there's a protein source in it already, I don't need to worry about that. What I need, you know what I mean? Like all of a sudden
yeah.
it changes the way
yeah,
I cook, the
totally.
way I shop, the way I think about
Totally.
things, right? So I
I
love
mean,
that.
I think for us that was very important, primarily because,
Yeah.
the child who had allergies, we wanted to make sure that we're very clear on the labels, like,
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
it's this gluten free, it's all allergen free, nut free, soy free, dairy free, all of that. And then it has a source of fiber in it. It has plant protein, and most importantly, it has 7 real vegetables in it, right? It's not just a tomato sauce. I mean,
Right.
again, I love what Italians do, but this is my interpretation of it. It's taking things to a different dimension.
For sure.
And there are 7 real vegetables, and we're talking vegetables like beets and, squash and carrots. So it's a great medley of things, and it's so interesting because we call them our superpower veggie sauces. And the whole name came from the fact that when my son would actually make food with it, and so we at home we would look at them and we would have different colors of them. And so I would tell my son and I would say, hey, look at this product and tell me how many vegetables are there in it. And so if it was a red sauce, I would call it the dragon sauce. If it was the green one, I would say, okay, this is the Shrek or Hulk,
Yeah.
whatever. And then I would say yellow is the sunshine sauce. So I would kind of like tell that story, and I would make my son pick out the seven vegetables. And thank God, I think he took all that in, because again, as somebody who's been having weight issues, you know how what you need to change, but it's very hard to
It's
change.
hard to do though.
And I wanted my son to make sure it starts right.
Right.
And so today he's 19. He's the kid who's in university, steaming broccoli and eating broccoli, or he's having beets and he's having spinach and kale. So, it's a tiny win for me as a mom.
That's pretty cool.
That's not a tiny win.
That's a big win. Well, the
that's
thing
not
is, like,
a-
even that, like,
yeah.
it's funny because, and especially because if he appreciates food and knows how to do a little cooking, he transfers that to other people too, right? It's just, it's
Oh,
good.
yeah, yeah,
It's
totally.
good.
Yeah. I mean, and I think this, like, here's my product. I want to just show you. I don't know if you can see, maybe I can just,
It goes blurry.
yeah, it
A
goes
little
blurry.
blurry. Yeah.
Or drop the background. If you drop the
Yeah, I'm going
background,
to do
people
that
want to see it, you
background.
can see
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So,
Because as soon
but
as you do the blurry backwards, it's like the stupid
yeah,
cameras.
that's my kitchen in the background.
Okay, now we look like we're on a kitchen show. Now we look like we're on
I
Food
like
Channel.
that. We're a little more serious now because now we're in a kitchen, damn
See,
it.
now we know that this is
Yes,
legit.
yes.
This is my seven veggie with beets and basil.
Yep.
This is my seven veggie with squash masala,
Okay.
and we've got two more. So these are the pouches that we have, and this is the sauce. It's actually a sauce, right? So you can hear the sauce.
And
Uh,
it's resealable, right? So if you don't use it all, you can just fridge it for a couple
Exactly.
days, whatever.
You can just literally it's in your pantry. And so we've done testing for shelf life. And so this is good for 10 months. And the only preservative we use is a natural citric acid. So
Right.
there's nothing. And that's because the vegetables, everything together work as preservatives itself.
Right.
This is where you see the real ingredients in it. And for me, this was personally very important, is making sure the label, because the label is something that is so important in terms of, I don't want to see any elements that I can't read. I want
Right.
to have things that people can read and understand and say, oh yeah, I know what this is, right?
Yep.
Right.
So that's what it is. And this is why this is the pouch. This got a Ziploc in here. So it's a lot of thinking going behind, because
A
once
lot
you,
of stuff that happens, right? So this is
yeah,
just,
yeah. Even like for a simple thing, like what should we have called the brand, right? Because we had seven veggies and we couldn't, like, we was thinking, should we continue to call it greens and beans? But it just hit us, oh my God, this is the brand, this seven veggie,
Right.
that sticks with you. So yeah.
Natasha, once it's open, how long does it have? I'm assuming once
Yeah, how
open
long does that
in the
last?
fridge for a week, 2
Easy,
weeks. What is it?
easy 10 days. I mean,
Okay.
again, just for,
Because it's all veggie based, so it's
yeah,
relatively stable.
it's relatively stable.
Okay.
And yeah, and then, I think the most important thing is to really look at it and say, okay, what can I do with it today morning? Like, for example, I get up in the morning. Some days I just don't want to cook, anything special. What I do is I take the sauce and make shakshuka with it. It's a
Right.
5-minute fix, right? Uh, so you can start with breakfast and end at dinner, and you're still
Still
going on.
good to go.
Yeah, yeah.
Right on.
I like it.
So
Wow. You're moving, lady.
Yeah.
You are moving. This is really cool. I really like it. I like what's happening, and
It's nice to listen to you too, because
I'm
you're
excited.
you're for an entrepreneur in a funny category. You're thoughtful. Like I can follow your steps. It's not always going to be smooth and linear. We get that. That's welcome to CPG.
Yeah.
But at least I understand what you're trying to do, which is really interesting.
yeah.
And it's a good product, by the way, because Phil and I actually have tried it. We were at the show,
Yeah.
and we got a chance to sample, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think, again, as I say that, there's one thing about the product, but there's another thing about being an entrepreneur. It's a hard journey. And,
Jeez.
and no matter how much corporate background you have and the experience and everything, being an entrepreneur kind of makes it absolutely real, because like I remember hauling onions and things on your own, and then you're sitting and like, is it really worth it? Is it worth it? And when you see the end product, you're saying, yeah, it is worth it.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting journey, and yeah, I mean, again, I'm not going to say that, we're still at the start. We're just touching the surface. We've signed up, as I mentioned to you before we start, like we've signed up with a distributor, we've signed up with, we're going to various trade shows. But the way my husband and I talk, and I was telling him, I said, unless we've done 10 production runs continuously, sustainably, and continue to sold, I don't think we can say that we've crossed the hump, right? We're still in the stage that anything can happen and we can shut down any day, right? But so we don't work with the fear, but we work with the premise of, okay, we've got to keep moving forward. What's the next
Right.
step? Like I
Right.
know right now, the first few months was a lot of focus on sampling in stores and retail and stuff like that. Now I know I really don't need to build my community digitally, right? That's what I'm really focusing on while continuing to grow retail. So multiple, I would say,
Yeah.
ways to reach the same thing.
Nice to hear, Phil. Like this help things
I
to
love
think
it.
it through.
I love it. And you're thinking it through. You're thoughtful about where you're going. You're excited about, because we talk about that and we teach it, but it's hard to do is how do you be ambitious about where you want to be?
Yeah.
And then but dial it right back down to, okay, that doesn't, I don't need to make 10,000 bags today, right? Like I need to make this amount, but knowing that I got to be at 10,000 in 2 years or 3 years or
Right.
yeah.
The goal is the goal, but I don't need to do it tomorrow.
Correct.
How do I learn to just do
Yeah.
this, because
Yeah.
you want sustainable growth. I mean, spiking is nice. Hockey sticks are great, but hockey sticks have another side too. Like you can go up and down just as fast. It's kind of nice to see how do I do this very
No,
sustainably.
hockey sticks are great. Like, so forget the others.
Oh,
Hockey
100%
sticks are
hockey
great.
sticks are
Yeah,
great.
there's no question about it, right?
My
But
worry is always the same though, is
you
that you
know,
can take a run, like Phil said at the beginning of the podcast, is that you still need to think it through.
yeah.
Because if it can run on its own, but can you do it? Can you
Yeah.
keep up?
I mean, like, even making the decision regarding co-packing is that um, because some co-packers won't do without a minimum run. And it's
It's
really
hard.
about finding that right co-packer. And then, because at the end of the day, you've got to mitigate your risk. And
Sure.
and so, yes, the smaller runs are a bit more expensive, but in the big scheme of things, that little extra that you're paying at the start kind of helps you
I agree.
from, having put tons of money up front.
Yeah.
So I think we kind of did that. Like we're right now doing very small batches, and there's a value in doing small batches, right?
yeah.
It's about, it also allows you to, learn from the market,
Absolutely.
and so
Absolutely.
I think we're firm believers of the fact that, uh, walk before you can run.
Love
That's
it.
awesome.
We love it.
That's
Yeah,
awesome. No, seriously,
these are
that's
my other
fantastic.
two ones.
Okay. The other,
These are the other two ones.
the other two. Awesome.
Yeah. This one is the 7 veggie with beets and lentil, and this one is 7 veggie with carrot and lentil.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
So if someone's listening to the podcast and wants to go shopping after this, like where can they find you?
So a lot of independent retail stores in British Columbia, like the Stongs and Palms and City Avenue Market, Stadium, Donald's. We're very soon going to go into the retail chains. We're in discussions with a few like Choices, as well as, having conversations with, what do you call that, Georgia Main.
Yeah.
And then we're in Kootenay Co-op. We're going to be in Kootenay Co-op, Sobeys, as well as independent grocers. So a lot of independent stores at the start.
Perfect.
Definitely being at trade shows, consumer trade shows. We have a distributor and we're, working with a distributor. We're doing a sales training with a distributor next week, kind of helping them to tell our story to the various retailers and buyers. So, and of course, Amazon and our own website, Shopify. So
So if they want to buy online, they have those two options.
yeah, they have those two options. So,
Awesome.
and very soon we're going to be on Instagram Shop, all, I would say other social commerce as well. So all of those things, just so that, we make it easy for people to click and buy.
Awesome.
I love it.
Yeah.
love it.
Very good.
We're really glad you did this.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was really excited to meet you at the show, and I thought a lot of your products, so I love it.
I think it's cool. I think I just I more than anything, I like the two of you in that I think your approach is healthy to approach the business. Like I think you guys are handling it in a non-typical ways a lot of entrepreneurs will in this space, which
Yeah,
which is like it's run as opposed sometimes just take a breath of air. Like you can still grow and you can grow fast, but just see it coming. Like be
yeah,
cognizant of what's going on. It's good.
yeah. It's
Wow.
and I think meeting people from the industry is so helpful because they
Oh,
kind of
critical.
leave you with nuggets. And if you're listening and you have your eyes and ears open, it's all about taking those pieces of information and
Yeah.
kind of just adapting to it.
Right. And then re-asking or looking or talking. But I think one thing that's good that you say that is one thing that I think that people do need to understand. It's a lonely environment being an entrepreneur, but it
Mm.
doesn't have to be lonely all the time. Like this industry is really bizarre in a lot of respects that people are willing to share, people are willing to help. Like it's a really weird industry that way is that your competitors will even help you out,
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
right? Which is not normal in a lot of businesses, right?
yeah, and we've had that because at the end of the day, everybody's going through the similar journey. And it's like you never know. And I, again, having been in the corporate world, I remember back in the day working on Coca-Cola, Pepsi was the biggest competitor, right? But in today's environment, it's more about collaboration because collaborative thinking can really take you to the next level.
Mhm.
I
And
think so.
so we were actually talking to this company in Kootenay who make pasta, right? And we're saying, let's do collaborations, And so we're kind of working together in finding ways where we have complementary products, right? So your sauce, my sauce, your pasta. Let's bring it together.
Yeah,
Pretty
You
bring it
guys,
on,
logical,
bring it
right?
on.
yeah,
Yeah,
and you guys are sampling, we're sampling. Let's do
yeah,
it together,
Right.
yeah.
So a lot of times we don't think like that, but that is also one of the ways to save on your costs because and maximize things, I would say.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, maximize it for the end person too. Like the retailer loves that because now
Yep.
they sell two things,
Exactly. Exactly.
right?
It's a basket.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Good
Thank
for
you.
you. Love it. Thank you for doing this. We're excited.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm
Thank you.
excited for you. And yeah, keep us
Yeah,
posted. Like I love,
yeah,
like to always hear the wins and
yeah.
or the trials and tribulations sometimes of our world, but it's good, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's tough, but it's fun.
It's fun.
Yeah, yeah,
It really is fun.
yeah.
Hey,
Fantastic.
go enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, Natasha. Yeah, looks like we got sun coming out here, so
Yeah.
I
God, yeah.
think I have another 15, 20 centimeters. So it
I was
is,
just watching the news. I got the news on, and I'm
yeah,
watching
yeah.
Ontario and thinking, "Holy shit, Phil, you guys
So
are getting hammered."
yesterday at like this time, it was green. So you could see outside, it was green grass, empty driveway. Now, we had 30 when I went out and shoveled the snow this morning, we had 30 centimeters, and
That's
there's probably another
crazy.
Oh
15
my God.
out there now.
You know what
So
they say, Phil?
yeah.
Better you than us.
It's okay. I mean, we're
Well, that's what
Ontario.
Natasha and I would
This
say.
is more like a normal winter for us, right?
Yeah,
So, it
Yeah,
is what it is. Yeah. Yeah.
you
yeah.
can have it. You can
Okay.
have it. I don't
Have a
want it.
great day.
Thank
Natasha,
you.
thanks very much.
All right.
Thank,
Thank
thank you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Ah, she's cool. I'm glad she came on. I'm
I'm
really
glad she
glad she
came on
came on.
too. You know what I
Yeah.
do? I like the fact, and I think this is what we both really liked about both of them, even from the show, is not because they listen to us, but they're receptive to ideas of people. Like, and they do. They were listening to a lot of people. They're really honed into what their consumer likes and doesn't like. So they're very like in tune or attuned to what people are saying, but they're thoughtful about it. They take the nuggets, what they can change, they change. If they don't think, but at least they're
Yeah,
thinking.
yeah. No,
Like I
no,
really
they're
like the way she
listening.
approaches things.
I actually I like it. She's listening, right? Like that's a big
Yeah,
thing for us.
I like it.
Because,
I mean, I think it's a good
entrepreneurs,
product. It's tasty.
yeah, yeah.
It's good.
I like it. I like it. All right. Thanks
There
for
you go.
listening.
Thanks for listening, everybody.